Scalpel. Thank you. Hope I get this right. I haven't slept in days. Oh no! Oh no!
I heard you can throw the football really well, Commish.
I can throw the football just as well as I like my rubs. Watch this. What? Objection, Your Honor. He's badgering the witness.
Sustained.
All right, so just finish off this next line of billion lines of code, and I'll have those guys betting all their money. There's no way they're gonna win at fantasy anymore, all this, betting. Anyways, I'm gonna call my bro. I gotta see what's happening. Hello? Hey bro, what's poppin'? Dak still making you wet dream? Baby, it's all good, bro. Oh, I got mustard on my favorite shirt. You know what, bro? I don't even know who to set up all this week in my lineup. Well, if you go this linebacker from Washington, they're paying a run-first offense, so that linebacker is guaranteed to get a bunch of volume, and that's how you will win this one. You the best, man. How the hell do you know all this? You see any women around, bro? Good point, my brother. Good point. You know what? Thanks for all you did for this. There's no way I could ever win without you. I know this. Hey everyone, guess who's back? It's Commish. Back here with another draft preview, and this time we got the last team featured in the international division, Eric and Swaginho. And when you look at Swaginho, since he's been in the LOC, he's been, I don't want to say, well, I guess you could say one of the more dominant players. We'll get into it when we get into the storylines, but all I could say is, Eric, you've always been a great fantasy owner here for the LOC, loyal to the LOC, and I appreciate having you in the league, obviously. It's a pleasure having the competition, and yeah, it's nice to see you even do some tactical buys here and there. Obviously, we did the trade for Valley last year. So anyways, let's get right into your preview, and we'll get started here. So I'm just going to share my screen. And we'll get right into it. Swaginho. Keepers, yeah, so I noticed the last minute change there that you made to go J.K. Dobbins, obviously the right move. So J.K. Dobbins, you had him last year. He just obviously got signed by Denver. And, by all accounts in the offseason news I've been reading, he's definitely going to have a role, right? Like Sean Payton likes to run at least a few running backs. It's a crowded room, right? You got him. You got Jaleel McLaughlin from last year, and then you also have the rookie RJ Harvey. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes down. But the way I always look at positional players on offense, like as long as that offense is putting up numbers, like so by that I mean touchdowns, right? Touchdowns is what gets you the big points in fantasy. then it's okay to have players on that team, even if they're the WR2 or the RB2, right? And again, you got to look at J.K. Dobbins as probably being a 1A, 1B, 1C kind of role, right? We don't really truly know. The only fear I have with J.K. Dobbins, of course, is injuries. And then you go triple-headed monster with wide receiver. I will say this, I view Tyreek Hill almost like Derrick Henry for Krista and Storm, where you just got to basically ride this guy till the wheels fall off now. I think if you tried to trade him even at the deadline to a buyer, you're just not going to get great return, right? So you might as well just keep this guy until his career's over, just like Derrick Henry, because you'll just never get the value back, I feel. But it does maybe prevent you from having other keepers, but I don't think it would for you. Nico Collins, obviously the clear WR1 in Houston, so a great guy to have there. CJ Stroud, an ascending talent. Rashid Shaheed, I was in New Orleans last year for the home opener. Basically, first play of the game, this guy gets a bomb touchdown. I like his skills. He's a big play guy too. So the big plays obviously could hopefully translate to more fantasy points for you. I mean, when I'm looking at your roster, who would I potentially keep other than him? Veli would be an option for me. But Shaheed, obviously, like I say, he's a big play guy. I just like Veli. I think he's gonna have a bigger role this year, but that's a tough one, right? And then your tight end, it's TJ Hawkinson, obviously coming off the major injury last year, year to heal now. So you got to think Hawkinson hopefully can return to his old self, like he played for Detroit in his first year in Mini. So. I do think tight end's a premium, so it's not a bad idea to at least have a running back, one tight end as keeper, and then your IDP is Zach Bond, who obviously did a lot of volume for, excuse me, Philadelphia last year. So I would expect probably similar volume numbers this year as well. So I think great IDP keeper. Who else could you have kept? You had some pretty good options, right? Jordan Brooks, maybe. I'd probably say that would be the only other really credible threat to Zach Bond as your keeper. All right, so you have always been somewhat of a what I would call a tactical seller and buyer, which I think probably is the reason why you've had so much consistency over your lifetime of being an owner here in the LLC. And we'll get into it with your storylines. I want to save that information for then, but you can see basically you have your original picks here in the first 10 rounds. There was no moves made by you, so you're going to pick 13th. You were obviously last place in the playoff round, so eighth place. Not the greatest spot to be in, but I guess if you lose in the first round, losing to get the eighth or 13th pick would probably obviously be to your benefit. I know everybody tries right to the end, and I know you would too. So you'd lost fair and square, but yeah, one thing I'll say about your draft pick scenario as well, and I said this in your brother's video yesterday, I hate picking in the middle. You can see it always seems to take forever in between your picks. And you might say, well, it takes longer if you're picking at the end or the beginning. Yeah, it does in between two picks though, right? It's always nice to have those two picks almost back to back because you can double up on running backs, double up on wide receivers. Harder to do that when you're picking in the middle because those guys you want maybe in that positional group, you got to wait 15 picks or 25 picks later, and likely that guy's probably not going to be there, right? So I find if you're waiting for those two back-to-back picks when you're picking last or in the beginning of a round, you have the two guys identified likely that you want. So it's a little bit tougher when you're picking in the middle. You did trade a couple of early teen or mid picks last year, 11 and 12, not quite teens, but that'll hurt in some of the depth picks, or even like some IDP picks around that range, right? But I don't think it's going to hurt you too much, right? I mean, it's not like it's in the first 10 rounds, it's later on. And I think you're obviously a good enough drafter to get through that. I will say this about you and your brother, even in Dynasty and even here. A lot of the times when I'm looking at a guy I'm going to pick next in the draft, you guys usually have it. Or if I'm looking at someone I'm going to pick up on waivers, you guys are either bidding on the same guy or have him already. So I think you guys know your football. And, I love the fact that Finn's in that division. Vlad's a great owner. Dushan's always been a great owner, and Luke's a good owner too. So that division's competitive. You got the two picks, obviously, here in the last 9 rounds here, the ones that you didn't have in 11 and 12. Again, I don't think it's going to affect your team too much, but it is something to be aware of. Obviously, your draft pick scenario isn't as good as your brother's, but it's not like it's detrimental towards your brother's. And then looking at likely first pick here, well, you keep the three wide receivers. So my opinion says you're going running back. And looking at the sleeper ranking says around that range. You're looking at a guy like Cam Scatabo, Trey Benson in year two, or Najee Harris, the established veteran who's never missed a game in his NFL career. We'll see if the fireworks accident has something to say about that. But he's never missed a game in his career. Talk about durability. I think any one of these running backs definitely helps the room, right? I mean, no matter what running back you pick, there's still a fair amount available that's going to have somewhat of a role. I think you need to have at least two decent ones, right, to win in this league. So that's why I think you're going running back at 13, but you might prove different. Looking at the storylines here, so this is where I just want to touch a bit on Swaginho's consistency. So in the regular season, he does have the best career win percentage at 6.34. Second place is Susie and Fighting Geese at 6.31. So Swaginho does have the best career win percentage. So you think about, so like myself, I've been in the league obviously 12 years, brother, same thing. So we have our career wins are always going to be larger. But when you're a team that has maybe 4 or 5 seasons in, win percentage says a lot about how good of an owner you are, right? So I think that is one of the true measures we can look at for owners that haven't been here since day one. The next storyline for you, 6 seasons in this league. This is your seventh season coming up. Just like Age Crew and BC Lions, you Sabatica Spartans as well came in at the same time. In those 6 seasons, you have 5 playoff appearances. You've only missed the playoffs once. I think that's incredible. So I just wanted to highlight that stat because, again, consistency, right? And I think part of it is you don't sell the farm, right? Or you don't buy the farm. And I think that helps. Last point, great owner, right? So just like I said for you and your brother Finn yesterday, I think the international division has 5 really awesome, just ethical, honest owners, and it's just awesome to see that around the globe there are people that know their football, know the NFL, know their fantasy, and can win, right? And the only thing that's missing on your resume, really, with the LSE is a championship, right? And if it's one thing I'll actually say, I think there's probably been times where you were close, and if you bought the farm, maybe you would have won the championship, right? But again, it puts you at risk the following year. Everybody saw what happened to me last year, right? I dropped, came back up tier two champion. I sold the farm too early. I don't think you can do that anymore in this league. And I would throw caution to the wind that anyone that is thinking about doing that, it's just become that good. And Eric, you're definitely a part of that. So I just want to say thank you for your great ownership and really rounding out the international division with a guy that's had the best career success in that division. So good luck this year, Eric, and looking forward to seeing what you do this year.